Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the podcast and welcome Kesh K of Second Society. Kesh J. Wow, sorry, I got so hung up on the
That
Kesh.
is fun.
Kesh J, that's okay. From Second Society. I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me in. Yeah, I'm really
Yeah,
excited to be here.
yeah. Tell us a little bit about you, what you do for those that don't know you yet. Can you, yeah, give us a little intro on yourself?
Yeah, I'm a brand strategist and a brand identity designer. I started out as a very technical person, weirdly enough, but branding and visuals have always been like a really incredible creative outlet for me. And I started this journey a couple of years ago. And I have focused on working a lot with women-owned businesses to show up as their authentic self and really put a visual into their identity. And I've been loving every second of it.
Oh my gosh, how long? So, how long have you been doing this?
Around 4 years now.
Okay, amazing. And what, I know you said you had kind of a technical background before. What were you doing before
Mhm.
this?
I was actually a full stack developer. I have a
Oh my
very
gosh.
technical background. Yeah.
So how did you get into this? Like how did you find out about this? Like journey, brand of things, this as a job, like that's so different. How did this all come
Yeah.
about?
Um, Weirdly enough, they started during COVID, like a lot of us do.
Hmm.
I was really burned out from my technical job. I was working as a developer during COVID. There was no work-life boundary at all. And while I've always been a creative person, I wasn't really doing it for money. I wasn't really putting like a business front to it. And I just started posting some of the creative work that I was doing on Instagram, not to get clients out of it, but just to share it around. And while I keep being a part of that community, I started getting inquiries from people. And this is while I was doing my full-time job. And just funny enough, I started taking some of them in. They're incredibly cheap. And it wasn't like, they weren't dream clients, but it was still something. And it was something exciting that I wanted to do. And I really love the community. I think that's the biggest part of what drew me into this. The Instagram community, like, was so, I think back then Instagram was kind of small. It was a small circle of people and
Hmm.
everybody supported each other. It was so closed off and it was incredible. And I wanted to take a break from my job and I did. And it's been just me full time running this since then.
Wow. Okay, amazing. What was like, I have such an admiration for business owners like you that kind of got their start during COVID. I'm like, that's massive. That's
Thank you.
really admirable because that was such a tough time to survive as a business, let alone start one. So, congratulations. That's really
Thank
incredible.
you.
What was the transition like from such a technical, I'm assuming, was it in person? Was your job in person then, or were you working from home?
I was working from home.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So still the big transition to go from that
Yeah.
to self-employed. So like what was that like? How did that like change your lifestyle? Obviously, there was so many changes going on in general given the state of the world, but what did that transition period kind of look like for you?
I was really in love with the freedom. I was in love with the fact that there's nobody telling me what to do because during these tech jobs, we had a lot of managers who were micromanagers. They were obsessed with just recording every single move that we would make, compared to just me just thinking it out there, trying to figure out what I'm doing, which was so much messier and more chaotic, but also a lot more freeing. It
Mm.
was a bit of a double-edged sword in the sense that you have this much freedom, but there's also that lack of discipline that comes with it. So I really had to learn how to look far ahead, look at my goals, understand like what things that need to be done every single day for me to get there. So weirdly enough, I'm a lot more disciplined now than I was back when I had somebody telling me what to do all the time.
Mhm.
And another thing that I find myself, like I'm still struggling with this one a bit, is that I take a look at world in a very technical way, in the sense that I think if I change X, I need to see results of Y.
Mm,
And that comes from a very technical mindset. And it's not the same in a creative field. It's not the same in a
mhm,
field where there's a lot of marketing and where there's a lot of different components that affect what we do and our results. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around this fact. I'm still trying to work on it, especially when it comes to running into problems and diagnosing them. There's
mm.
no right answer, there's no wrong answer. And it wasn't like that in a technical space, weirdly enough.
I think that is, like you said, like the double-edged sword of being self-employed, especially in a space where we're doing online marketing or it's more on the creative side. Like there isn't a right or wrong. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's so
Yeah.
exciting. But it's also like, oh my God, like there is no right or wrong. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Someone tell me what to do. Like, I think we've all, or I won't speak for everyone, but I'm like, I know in my like 10 years of being self-employed, like there have been days, weeks, months where I'm like, do I just get a normal job so that someone can like tell me what to do for a second? Because I
Yeah.
love the freedom, but sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, someone tell me how to fix this. Like someone tell me what to do, please.
100%. I've come to a point where sometimes I just want to get somebody on board just for them to tell me what to do. Like hire your own boss kind of thing.
Oh, there have been moments with my assistants where I'm like, you tell me. Like,
Yeah.
you know the business well enough at this point. Like, what do you think? And we'll just do that. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
make a decision. Like, can you? So no, I totally feel that. And I think that's
Yeah.
kind of a great segue into what we're talking about this month and what we kind of talked about talking about on this episode, which is habits and how we take care of ourselves, how we take care of our creativity amidst running our own business, amidst a really crazy online space. Like there's so much going on in the world, both offline and online now that wasn't around 10
Yeah.
years ago. And obviously everyone has a different way of doing things. Everyone's personalities are so different, their businesses are so different, but I want to kind of hear about what that looks like for you, Kesh, and like I'm super interested to hear how you found or like why you find yourself being more disciplined now than you were before. Because I'm like, that's so interesting. Like, that's like
Yeah.
you're even more disciplined in a creative job than, a super technical job. So, can you kind of start us off on some of your favorite habits and like favorite ways of moving about your life?
Yeah. 100%. Like I said, everything is so messy because most of us creatives, we're just one person trying to do everything. And sometimes I'm pretty sure you can feel it yourself that you feel like your head is being torn into different directions because you're supposed to be doing marketing, you're supposed to be doing sales, you're supposed to be doing content, and every single thing in between. So you're in charge of that. And when you're doing a job, any job, technical job, or anything else where there's somebody else telling you what to do, you're just in charge of one thing or just one area where you can do it. And somebody will always tell you what to do. But in your situation, in like when you're running your own business, especially a creative one, you got a million things to do and no one's telling you what to prioritize or what to do. So um I've learned the hard way that I need to prioritize and I need to write down every single thing that I do, or it would all go to shit. Like I am a very chaotic person who tries to be a lot more organized than anybody else, just so I can overcompensate for that.
Hmm.
So I've got this massive binder, this massive planner, where I definitely need a single page every single day. So this has like 365 pages for the year. It's heavy and it's incredibly bulky, but I carry it around with me every single day because it's
That's so
literally like my
impressive.
brain on paper. What I do, I'll tell you what I do in terms of like habits. I do this every single month, every single week, and every single day. Um, at this point, I'm obsessed with it. But every single month in the beginning, I do a monthly plan. I just list down everything that needs to be done this month. It's not easy to predict what needs to be done every month. If you're a creative and if you're kind of on the go, you get clients on the go. And if you're starting out, it's a bit unstable, but I try to predict as much as I can. And then I put down my goals as well. Do I need like more clients, or do I need to remove some of them to the next month? Or is there any specific marketing goals that I need to hit? Any specific collaborative goals? I just put everything that I need to do this month on this plan. Without a doubt, it takes around 4 hours for me to do this monthly goal planning.
Wow.
Yeah, but I feel like it's worth it because it takes everything that's in my head and put it into paper.
Hmm.
And once it's out there, it's so easy to break it down into a couple of weeks. And then every single week, I just make sure I map out what I do every day. One thing that I want to note, Eden, is that it doesn't always work out that way. It
Hmm.
doesn't work out the way you plan. And that's perfectly fine. What's really important is that you put it in there and you have that direction to get started.
What are you looking at to kind of come up with the monthly planning? Are you looking at finances, deadlines coming up, personal activities, all of it? Like, where are you almost like pulling the data from in order to plan? What does that look like?
Yeah, okay, that's a really good question. I used to look at finances. I used to look at like a monthly goal, but it turned out a bit difficult to do that, especially when you plan ahead.
Mm,
So you book clients not for this month, but the month after and the one after that. So it can be a bit difficult to pick up monthly goals when you plan a lot far ahead. So now what I do is I look at deadlines and I look
mm,
at client project timelines. I'm somebody who handles at least 3 projects at once. So I
mhm,
need to take a look at client project milestones and make sure that they go in there.
mm,
And the second thing that I look at is my Instagram content. I market a lot using Instagram. So I make sure that I put the number of posts or the content that I need to make this month
mm.
and I put it in there. So
Do you
yeah,
do like a content day where you do it all at once, or what does like your content planning kind of look like?
I have one day a week. And
Mm,
this tends to shift around a bit based on like whether I have client projects or calls or any intensives that I'm doing. But I make sure that I have at least one day. And sometimes I just get one single post done for that week. Sometimes I get like a couple of them done. Sometimes it's just a story. But I make sure
mhm.
to spend that time on my content every single week just so I don't lose track.
How do you come up with your ideas? Like, what is kind of your approach to your social media?
I used to be super organized
Hmm.
with my social media, but when I keep getting more and more client work, it's very difficult to stick to like both of them at the same time.
Hmm.
So right now I have like a massive list of ideas. Ideas always come to you, like you
Hmm.
see somebody else's post, you scroll through Instagram and you see like a million things. Like, oh, maybe I can do something similar. So I have this massive list of ideas of content that I want to do. And right now, what I do is when I have the time, I just go through that list and pick one out.
Amazing. How do you kind of structure? I know you said you work like monthly into weekly into daily, which I love. I think that's a great system. How do you kind of balance between what you're needing to do for work and your personal life? Like how does that balance get found or respected when you're kind of building these
Mm.
schedules?
I probably feel like I'm not the best person to answer that because my personal and professional life is so interconnected.
No, I feel that.
Um, yeah, there is no work-life balance at all. But what I tried, I'll tell you what I try to do. Ideally, this scenario works out perfectly. I take my Sundays off. My Sundays are always off. It's just for myself.
Mm,
Um, but I try to keep like some Saturdays to myself, just do absolutely nothing. When I'm planning out the month, I take a look at important days and I make sure that I pick them out. For example, 22nd is my birthday, and I make sure to just cross that out. I'm not working on
mm,
that day.
No,
So
no one
no,
self-employed should ever work on their birthday.
exactly. I'm just gonna stay in bed all day and do absolutely nothing. That is like the most important thing I can do.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I take a look at important days, days that I feel like I can take time off while I'm really strict with myself. I also know that this comes with some freedom and I should probably use it every once in a while.
No, that's real. I'm like, I also feel like you go through stages. Like I have stages where I'm like so good at
Mm,
prioritizing my personal life.
yeah.
And then I go through stages where I'm so excited about work or I'm working on a really massive project and I'm just like so in the zone that personal life kind of gets pushed to the side.
Hmm.
How do you when right now you're feeling like you're maybe not balancing work and personal
Hmm.
life too much, how do you keep yourself from burnout slash how are you finding inspiration? Because I have done a bit of brand strategy and design myself. And but also just like being an artist in general, I think it can be applied to anyone that does the arts. It's so overwhelming to have so much access to so much art online. Like we are
Yeah.
ingesting media 24/7 and it can be so difficult to like stay inspired, not burn out, keep up with your creativity. Like that is something that kind of disappeared on me for a while, was just being like, oh my gosh, like, will I ever feel creative again? Like, where is my creativity? How do
Yeah.
you keep up with that? How do you kind of like keep the flame going?
Oh my God. Are you also right when you said there's so much content out there, especially so many people are just pumping out so much creative work, and some of them are incredibly amazing. And some tends to be AI generated as well. And I've come to a point where I don't really scroll through my explore page a lot anymore.
Hmm.
It tends to be a bit overwhelming. I do have my saved folder on Instagram where I've saved up all the things from incredible designers. And I tend to take a look at them when I'm feeling down or when I need a bit of an inspirational hit. But the
Mm,
biggest place that I go to when I need a bit of creativity in me would be to design, just go and design something with no boundaries. Like just start a
mm,
creative project, just start a passion project with like no boundaries. And I think this works for me because I don't get to do a lot of passion projects anymore,
mm,
because there's just back-to-back client work, and passion projects give you that freedom to just explore things with no limitations, no strategy, no business specifications. Like you're just on your own. And I find
mm,
that incredibly freeing. Um, and maybe for me, that's the equivalent of like going out and taking a walk. But I
mm.
find that it's just so stimulating for me.
I love that. How often do you find that you are doing creative projects or like in an ideal world, how often would you want to be doing them just for yourself?
I try to do them like once in at least 2 months. And I know that like that's such a long time to be doing like one single project. But between all the time off that I get, and between like all the new things that I've saved up and want to explore, that's also another thing. I want to try all these new things with like one single project. It takes a
Mm-hmm.
bit of time, but I really like that little bit of time that I have, just put it into something that is so personal and so mine.
How have you seen personal projects like give back to your business as well? Like, do you include them in your portfolio? Have you seen that they've brought in like a different type of clientele, or do you kind of just reserve them for you to be just like creative projects that don't need to really be perceived?
Honestly, even I think they're bringing me more clients than my client projects.
Mm,
So maybe that's a reason for me to prioritize a bit more, but it's because you get to explore your style without
mm,
any boundaries with your client projects, that they end up becoming much more attractive aesthetically. And I can't really
mm,
speak to whether it's strategic or not because there's no actual business backing it, but
mm,
it does so well on social media and it does so well in my portfolio.
mm. Outside of ingesting like online media or creating itself, do you find inspiration outside of your niche or like in different unique areas, or are there like certain things that happen or occur you view in your day-to-day life that you find inspiring?
Maybe not day to day, but I'm an incredible fan of photography.
Mm.
And there's just something about beautiful photos that just makes you feel really good. And I don't know how to explain it. Just look at something and it makes you feel emotions. It makes you feel feelings. And this is probably not the best way to describe this at all. But I have some friends who are incredible photographers. And I know so many people who are amateur photographers, and you look at their work, they might be amateurs, but you look at their work and they're so incredibly moving. And I find them really fascinating. I find sometimes I just want to sit down and look at like one of these images for the longest time. And it's pretty funny because,
Yeah.
like you said, there's so many images out there now, so much visuals that you think like it could be overwhelming. But photography is something that I find like you don't need, like, there's not enough of them that I can get enough of them.
No, I love that. I also just love, like, I think it's so important to ingest media that isn't
Mm.
your niche or like your thing that you do.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a really long time where I would look for photography inspiration by like scrolling Instagram or scrolling Pinterest, and it just got like so redundant and almost just like
Mhm.
more like it just turned into more of comparison than it did like
Yeah.
inspiration. Like it was just like, why am I not doing that? Why don't my images look like that? And when I broke out of that and started being like, let's go to museums or like let's watch really beautiful films or, take in people's sculptures or like whatever it is, that was so amazing to my
Mhm.
photography to be like, okay, like I can find aspects of the arts that inspire me without being able to compare because they're doing something totally different. So I love that. I think that's such
Yeah.
a amazing way to like find inspiration.
Yeah, and I think it, like you said, Ethan, I think it helps us step out of our boundary and like explore new things as well. Like when you look at the same kind of work that you're doing, it's done with the same mediums, same visuals, same elements. Well, if you look at something a bit more different, you would wonder how to bring that into the work that you're doing. So
Mm.
I think that helps us really break out of these boundaries.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, well, I know you're in Australia, so you're not Australia,
Mhm.
right? Okay, so
Yeah.
you're not doing spring. You're not doing spring right now, like we are, but let's pretend.
Okay.
Um, but you're entering a new season, right? Like you'll be entering a
Yeah.
new season soon.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to? Are there things that you're wanting to change or see yourself do differently? Like what's kind of coming up on the pipeline?
I've got an incredible personal project lined up, which is a full rebrand of my own studio.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is. And I think like as like personal brands ourselves, we are so, so close to the problem when it comes to working on our own brands. So I am getting some support on this one, but I just started the strategy part of it. And I feel like I probably will not get this done within this season, but
Real.
it's still something that is so, so intimate to me. And I'm so happy that I'm going towards a direction that feels a lot more aligned. And if this is how my clients feel, I'm like over the moon.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's like one of the most exciting feelings in the world. I
Yeah.
design my own websites and like almost always have, and it's
Hmm.
so fun. Like even when you're at the helm of it, it's so exciting. So I love that
Your
for you. I'm
website
so
is
excited.
beautiful. It
Thank
is
you.
incredibly beautiful.
Thank you. It was a labor of love. So I'm like, she will not be changed for a long time.
You can
I'm
see
like,
that.
thank you. Thank you. Well, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see. That's gonna be so exciting.
Yeah, I hope I can get it on time. But it's no rush. It's your
No
baby,
rush.
so no
Yeah.
rush.
There's no deadline when it's yourself, which is always
Exactly.
nice.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, obviously, we will link everything in the show notes, but can you tell everyone where they can find you online?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram, and my handle is by Second Society, lowercase, no spaces. And it's the same for the website as well, by Second Society. That is BYSECONDSOCIETY.com.
You killed it. That was right.
Thank you. I was so sure I'm gonna miss a letter.
No, it's okay. I'm like me anytime I have to spell something out loud. But well, thank you so much, Kesh, for coming on. It was so lovely to meet you and to
No
hear
worries.
about your habits and your creative process. So thank you for coming on.
No worries. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much for the invite, Eden. This is really exciting. And I think this is the first time I got to speak so much about myself, but not at a therapist. So,
Real. Well, you
so
did great.
freeing.
I loved it. I can't wait for everyone to listen. So thank you again.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.